Next up, we have our magic sphere. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Duplicate collection, back that up, go ahead and hide that, and go ahead and go through each one of these and assign that checkerboard shader. Okay, so the first one we'll just do really quick is going to be the sphere. So go into UV editing, check that out. So this one's looking pretty good out of the box. However, we do have quite a bit of seams happening. You know, the cube, it looks like we got UVs right out of the box. And you know, we could keep these, but what I'm going to do is, since I know I'm not going to be seeing the bottom and I know I'm not going to be seeing much of the batch, it's going to be much, much better having one seam going around the back than what it is, you know, seams right here that are going to be in the front. So what I'll do here is just simply select this. I'll go all the way around, and then I'll jump into my wireframe mode and simply deselect these. I'm going to, so I can work a little bit better, turn off the rest of these. And now I can simply just deselect, you know, I'm looking right here, wherever that edge loop is up there, and just deselect these. Again, it's not going to be in a perfect unwrap because we're going to need to compromise these, but I'm just going to do kind of like a half circle here and then do UV mark seam, select everything, and then UV unwrap. And if we look at the material preview right now, now we can see, okay, you know, there's a little bit of variation here. Like the checkers are a little bit smaller up here than down here. But again, we're only going to be, this is just glass, so we don't need to have perfect UVs. In terms of stretching, it's going to be better if we don't have a seam right there, because we're going to put some grunge maps on this. Next up, we have our cylindrical shape. So here, what we can do is just simply cut out the top, cut out the side, cut out the top here, cut out the bottom here, and then the side will be one. So from here, I'll just simply select all my edges. To be able to see this a little bit better, what I'm going to do is just go into my settings right here and make sure I turn this off on edit mode so we can see a little bit better while we're working with our UVs. And I'll just simply come in here and select each one of these edges and then just UV mark seam. And then from here, you know, we could just try to unwrap, and you know, this probably would be fine. But if we wanted to, this right here and this right here, these could be straightened out. And to do that, we can simply mark another seam. So I'm going to go back here into -X, just do alt click on this with my edges, selecting that back seam right there, and then do UV mark seam. And then we'll just do select everything with A and then UV unwrap. And now we're going to have that extra. So now we can see if we go into, material preview, now these are going to be going a little bit more in a predictable horizontal way. And then we'll simply come over here. We'll select L and L to select those islands, and then just do pack to grid to straighten those out. And there we go. That one's good. And then we have one more, and this one's going to be a little complicated. What we essentially need to do here, I'm going to turn off subdivision, another subdivision, and then I'll just jump back to my UV editing tab. And essentially we could come through here and start to, you know, mark our edge loops here, edge loops there. It'd be really, really tedious to do that. A quick way to do this, I don't use a whole lot, but on these specific cases, I do tend to use this stuff. If we just do UV and then UV Smart Project, I'll click that. We'll get a little dialog box with some options. I'm just going to leave this all default values and hit OK. You'll see what it does is it just kind of automatically figures out where the seams are, where things are going to go. Now, the downside of this is that we are going to get a lot more seams, specifically like these areas right here, where like this edge right here could technically be connected. These edges right here could potentially be connected as well. But the trade-off is just that it's really, really quick. And if we're only doing something that's going to be very, very basic, no text, no wood grain, no bricks, nothing that actually is going to require to have minimal seams, we should be fine. So there we go. And then I'll just jump back and see all this stuff together. Great. And then we'll jump onto the book in the next chapter.